microphone's gonna work today. Fingers crossed, hey guys. We just need this camera to work. Please, 8 seconds to go. And look at that for a transition. G'day, Stu from UAVFutures here. Welcome back to our happy flying live stream. Number 11. It's kind of crazy. 11 weeks in a row. Man, I'm making 9. What are you doing? I just started my intro and he's already starting off with the super chats. All right, we're going to get to that in a little bit. Let me check my audio levels. That man must have been waiting on the ready. What a crazy fella right there. But let's get this. I need to settle down. Let's tone it down a little bit. Happy flying, number 11. It is great to be here. My camera is working. The sun is shining. Let's go through a few little, I guess, housekeeping things right here first. I am going to read out Omega 9 super chat right there. He's saying, here's $5 I meant to give last week. Oh, brother, did you accept? Man, okay. So for those of you who don't know, Omega 9 actually sent through $50, which is absolutely insane. And if you meant to give $5, write me an email or something. Maybe I can still refund that. So if you need that back or anything like that, let me know. Because there is a huge difference between a $50 super chat and a $5 super chat. So if you need that, let me know. I'll see if I can find some refund or some way to do that. I don't know how to do that, but maybe we can figure that out if you need it. But I want to say thanks so much, brother, for your support. It's great to see you here. Let's see who is in the chat. Of course, we have someone, and look, I do need to give this person a shout out. You might have heard me talk about them week in, week out, but that's Johnny DRC. He has been here, I would say, for the best part of 8 years. He was in like the last streams we did, like in 2020. He was part of that streaming family. He's been on my channel. Like, you've seen a lot of his comments on my videos. So I want to give him a double, I got a microphone in the way here, double thumbs up. Yeah, thanks for just always being here, really. Like one of the, I would say definitely some of the #1 fans we've got right here. So there we go. We've got Phaser. He is, of course, one of the legends. He's been around on the channel as well for a long time. So that's Phaser FPV. If you don't know him, that's who you will see in all my flights and all my, I guess, racing videos. And you see any flags or any gates, they are, I would say, 9 times out of 10, Phaser FPV flags. That's a store here in Australia. Has a heap of stuff. I've done some work with them in the past. And I have a little, I remember one time, I have to give him a shout out in terms of just being a cool dude, because he sent me a product and I really wasn't the biggest fan of it. I said, man, I don't really like this frame. I don't think it's designed well. He had a huge shipment of it and it was kind of like, oh, he just accepted my findings and my review on the frame, didn't get upset. Just sort of a real professional environment there with Phaser FPV. We got, yeah, there we go. We got Moonrunner. He's saying hi, Stu. We got Great Scott as well. And he gave me some tips on the audio. And I know he's been a Patreon for a little while. And can I ask you, how does this audio sound versus like a couple of weeks ago? Because I have the microphone like right here in front of me on this. I don't want to mess with it because I feel like it's working and it shouldn't be dropping out and those things anymore. So that's the plan anyway. I'm hoping it's sounding better. I've tried to work a little bit on like looking at the microphone levels and the gain and all those sorts of things. But yeah, Johnny DRC is saying, thanks, Stu, for all you do. And thanks for helping me through the years. It is absolutely my pleasure to everybody that is here. So that's what we're all about. UAVFutures is just about sharing the love of FPV and connecting with people in the community and ultimately improving our life. Now let's go through. I'm going to give you some little things that's coming up in today's show. and it's a bit of a doozy. We've got some cool stuff to talk about. I do want to do a bit of a check-in. We're going to be talking, of course, like it's called Happy Flying. I'm a big believer in promoting a positive mental health, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And if you're not into that, well, you can just chill a little bit while you wait, because it's something I truly believe in. I love FPV, but most importantly, I think the thing I love about it is how it improves people's lives, and that's something I'm really passionate about. So we're going to be touching on that just a little bit. With this one, and I'm saying this with absolute kindness, we're going to be talking about why your YouTube videos suck. So I've seen some beginner videos, and it's fine to make them for fun, but I'm going to be giving you some little tips. If you would like to make content, or you want to make something that's a little bit different, maybe how to stand up or how to stand out a little bit from the crowd, we'll be going through some little tips like that, because a big part of our hobby, people love showing off their awesome flights, and yeah, we're going to give some little tips on that. I built this. Let me show you this. And I'm pretty excited for this. And I was able to do it 99% by myself. So we have this little Sonic baby wing, which I want to be talking about a little bit as well. That was a pretty cool adventure. That, to be honest, the hardest part was the transmitter settings. So trying to find out with no flight controller how to bind it all up so it's all going to be working. I got a little bit angry, so we're going to be talking about some things that I was kind of really annoyed at, and I'm going to need your help if I'm just an old man here, because I saw some posts on Reddit, and I was like, this post is really grinding my gears, so I want to get a bit of clarification on that. Of course, we're going to be talking about some DJI stuff, because DJI, well, they're not sort of having the best day. So we're going to be looking at some Mads Tech stuff and some of the comments and the findings that he has. So a bit of a safety warning. If you are flying around with the latest DJI stuff, or the O3 goggles and the O3 Air unit, please, you need to be watching that, because your drone might be falling out of the sky. You might be losing your signal, and you're not going to be able to get it back. And of course, we need to talk about HD0, their latest like AI all-in-one board, their 5th revision, which is like HD0 in a Whoop form factor with everything on there. That looks really, really cool. But let's continue with the show. And people saying, Mike sounds really good. That is fantastic. That's some really good positive feedback right there. And of course, if you have any questions, if you would like to know anything about FPV, maybe you need a little tip or something, you would like to know something about the past, or just a question, it could be in general about UAVFutures or the drone industry, whatever it is, this is your live stream as much as it is my live stream. It's just part of being with the community, connecting with you guys, and it's the best part of my working week. So if you have that, put that in the chat. Let me know what you're doing. Maybe you're kicking back. Maybe it's the start of your day. Maybe it's the evening, wherever you're going to be, having dinner, ordering some pizzas, whatever it is. Let me know in the chat what you're up to, because I feel like, yeah, you guys are part of this as well. It's not just me. I do like to see your comments and see your chat and some messages and those sorts of things in there. And of course, I'm going to plug my Patreon if you would like to join that. Anybody, that is down below, and that ultimately keeps the wheels turning. It's getting harder than ever to make a living on YouTube and do this as my full-time job. So if you would like to support, that link is going to be there. At least I hope it's there. Maybe somebody can double check if I did even put that link in the description. I feel like that's something I should focus more a little bit on. I don't talk about it enough maybe in my videos. So I don't know, maybe I'm giving myself a little plug there. Okay, let's see. And Phaser FPV, we're going to jump in. He is saying, it's sad to say that I deleted Fat Shark off my site over WE. The OG lads will know they were the best, but sadly are now in the past. What do you mean? What do you mean WE? Over the weekend. Sad to say, I deleted Fat Shark off my site over the weekend. The OG lads will know they were the best, but sadly are now in the past. Okay, I did not know that. So if you don't know, Fat Shark were like the predominant, I would say 90% of the market share when it came to FPV and goggles. Everywhere you looked, and I think I would be one of the few exceptions that might have been different to this. So I liked, for me, I liked flying around what I found was the best value, or just the goggles that suited me. I wasn't loyal to any one brand, and I feel like I got a bit of flack for that. Everybody loved Fat Shark, except I flew Sky Zones and On-Way Commanders before that. First I flew Flat Shark, then I flew On-Way Commanders, and then I flew Sky Zones. And the reason was simple. I just really liked them. There was no money on the table. There was no sponsorships. There was nothing about that. It was just, hey, here's a product that I liked, and I was able to get that out there and maybe popularize it a little bit more. It is a little bit sad, though, to see Fat Shark off the table. It's probably very difficult in this day and age to compete in the analog market, especially now with like these HD0 whoops coming out that we're going to be talking about a little bit in the stream. That's going to be a bit tricky. Faces saying they still have some goggles in the market. Need to clarify they're not dead, but most are buying Walk Snail DJI stuff now. And I would say there's a big option too. I don't know, Fazer, do you have HD0 on your site as well? I feel like one of the things about HD0, their goggles are kind of expensive. I don't even have a pair. I would like to. Probably need to talk to them a little bit and see if we can track down a pair. I do have a Patreon that has one as well that we're talking about meeting up and doing some stuff with HD0. But yeah, really cool. But before I get sidetracked, thanks very much, ADHD. Yeah, Fat Shark is pretty cool. They're probably just not as popular as they once used to be. I don't know if it was because then also they moved in with Red Cat and Rotor Riot. I don't know. I felt like though, and I don't know if you can blame them 100% for this, they were very profit focused in terms of like not offering. It wasn't great for consumers when the whole market was only Fat Shark. I didn't really like that. I felt like we needed more options, and definitely it brought some of their prices down or made the market a little bit more competitive, which is always good for us. Johnny DRC is saying, I still fly with my SkyZone 030s. Yep, I still fly with some of my SkyZones that I have, although I think I have the latest version, but to be honest, I can't get a response from SkyZone anymore, so maybe they've changed their contact. That was one of the, I had like a Fat Shark, a Facebook contact, and I wasn't too sure how to always chat with them, because Daniel, if you ever watch this, man, I would love a response from some of the questions that I've got. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about a little bit about like just the daily check-in, the mental health. FPV is so good for our positive mental well-being. I'm a big believer in that. I suffered from some mental health issues in the past, and if you are suffering, or that is you watching this, or you know somebody who's going through that, I would like to say, please do not feel alone. There is an amazing community here as part of FPV. And look, there can be a whole bunch of reasons that affect people. Mine was some undiagnosed ADHD, and we just had like our second child, and we were in a year of lockdown. It was a pretty dark time for me, and I feel very grateful that I'm still here today to be able to talk to that and maybe champion or talk about it a little bit, that please, it's not weak to speak. If you feel you are suffering, please talk to somebody. It could be, it could be a professional, it could be a friend, it could just be some strangers on the internet, but don't feel ashamed or anything about that, because I'm a big believer and I do not want you to feel alone. It was kind of scary for me to make a video a couple of years ago that was saying, hey, look, I'm not okay. And the amount of overwhelming positive support that we have in this community, this FPV community, I cannot understate how not only impactful it was, but also just it was uplifting. When things are really dark and really tricky, this community is absolutely amazing. So if that is you, I would just like to say, hey, we're here for you in a small capacity, a large capacity, in some capacity, we're going to be here for you. And if that is you and you are suffering, please don't feel ashamed of it. And my best analogy, it's like if you broke your leg, would you go to the doctor? Yeah, probably. If you break your brain, you should probably go to the doctor as well. So, all right. But one part, and continuing on that, I like to also touch on a little bit of a topic. So for me, it was really hard to get motivated to do things when I was suffering through some mental health issues. And one of the things I really like at the moment is making lists. I know that might seem ridiculous and like a small little thing, but my tip to get motivated and some things I want to do, make those lists before you actually go to sleep for the next day. So for me, and I don't always follow my advice, but it is good advice, and something I found that actually works is like I have a calendar and I put all my things on there, and that has been really helpful for ADHD. It's one of the strategies that I'm working on. But if I can make that list before I go to bed, so then when I wake up in the next day, I know what I'm doing, it is much easier to have a clear idea and focus on what I'm going to be working on. Versus if I wake up and don't make a list, well then who knows what's going to happen. But if I wake up and make a list in the morning, well, then it can be really affected. Oh, how am I feeling? Am I motivated? Do I really want to do that? But if that list is already pre-done and done the night before when my brain is still firing and ready, I just feel like I have a much better focus for things I want to work on for the day. Anyway, that's a little bit of a productivity thing right there. Okay, shall we move on? We'll go through a bit of a chat and then we're going to talk about why your YouTube videos suck. We have Nev TK1 1100. At my local flying field, we need a spotter for FPV. It sucks hugely. Is it a CASA? It's in the CASA law for Oz. So normally, look, I don't talk about the regulations too much. I'll let you read between the lines right there. Here is what some general advice. This is not coming from me, but I would say on a global scale, most of the time, if you are flying FPV and you are not annoying people, people don't mind too much. Like if you are in the woods in a secluded area and there's no one around, you're not buzzing people, I don't know who's going to get too upset. If you're just like, maybe if you're posting videos and you're doing some really crazy, dangerous things, that is definitely not recommended. FPV, I believe, is extremely safe. You just have to be safe with it. So you can do some things with it, which are definitely stupid. But if you just want to enjoy flying around and having fun, just don't go near people. Like that is something, a big shout out to Grumpy Trev, who's been on my channel for a long time. He spoke about for a long time that, and it worked. Like that man was very smart in what he did. And he'd say, hey, we're not going to fly near there. It was like a word of wisdom or an old mentor. I shouldn't be calling him old, but like, hey, let's not fly near here. Now that location's a little bit unsafe. You don't want to get a failsafe near this location, so we would always try to go to places that were secluded, away from society or people or property and away from businesses. You're probably not going to have an issue. Now, one of the fun things though, is usually at those places, there's lots of trees and cool things to fly around. But if you go to a flying field, it can be a little bit more trickier. It takes a bit more setup anyway I don't really find it very fun if I'm just flying around in an open park. Even if I had a spotter there, which yes, I always do, even if I had a spotter, but it's just an open flying field, that's not really fun at all. So my advice would be, if on the global scale, always check your laws and regulations, follow them to the T. But if you are flying somewhere that's relatively away from society and people, you're not putting anybody at risk. Dennis G is saying, going through it, I'm glad. Back to flying again. Thanks, man, for what you do. It's absolutely my pleasure, man. That's what we're here for. It's the best part of my working week, checking in with you guys, talking all things FPV, just hanging out with this amazing community, this amazing FPV family we have right here. Again, I have some, you can't really see it in here, but some bright green. I think Kiz called it punch or something. I wish I had a nice coffee. Maybe we'll learn more a little bit about that sometime. Okay, why your YouTube videos suck. Let me change some windows right here, because I think this is going to help a couple of people. Where are we? Okay, look at this for my first ever video. If I get this on the screen, put this across over here. And hopefully, and I need to actually mute my own video so I don't get a copyright strike on my own video, because back in the day, I think I just put whatever music we had on there. All right. So this is why your YouTube videos suck. You might be getting into FPV and you think, man, I want to make some content. You're putting heaps of work into it, but you're getting no views or nobody's watching it. You're not building or connecting with an audience, which is actually a big part of FPV. Like that's one of the best parts, is being part of the community, this amazing hobby. But if your videos suck, well, we're going to be going through some little tips and things you can do a little bit differently to maybe stand out from the crowd, maybe connect with more people, do things a little bit different, because there's an awful lot of FPV videos out there. And I would say around half of them would, if people even click on them in the first place, well, they're not going to stay more than a couple of seconds for most of them. And like, we're going to go through some little tips right here. Let me show you my first. This is like 8 years ago. And we have me just flying around. And this would be, I would say, half of the FPV videos on the market actually look like this. So this is some of my first mistakes. And that's why yours are probably going through the exact same motion. So if I jump over here to screen share, hopefully my computer's not going to break. Look at that. All right, so this one is, look, 8 years ago. I've got 400 views on there, and this is sort of your start a video. I think I've got it muted because I have like some electronic dance music playing in the background, and I don't know. I thought I was like the world's best pilot flying this around. Oh, look how. Oh, okay, maybe not the best pilot, but straight away I think, okay, maybe there was a little crash there that was slightly interesting. But how many of you have seen a video that looks like this? It's just, okay, there is no incentive to watch this whatsoever. At the time, FPV didn't really exist in the capacity that it does today. There wasn't thousands of videos out there. So there was more demand, or I guess you had less competition to watch a video. So if you put this video up though today, I think you might get 10 views if you were lucky, if I had to guess on what it's like, because it is a really tough competitive market. So let's talk about some of the things you can do. The first and foremost thing I would like to stress is, if you're going to be making FPV videos, please make them for fun. Make them for yourself, because without, like, that is what I make these videos, because I love them and I'm passionate about them. The people benefiting from them and like the views that you get from them is like a secondary afterthought. I would still make these videos. I made these videos before it was my full-time job, and I want to continue making these videos. It is not all about that end goal. Your goal should be, why am I making this? Is this fun? Now, the second part there is, what makes that video exciting? Like if I jump over here and I'm looking at this is my tip number 2. What makes this video exciting? In today's day and age, look at the compression on this video. It's absolutely disgusting. But what makes this exciting versus everything else that is out there? And this goes for flight reviews, video reviews, maybe fun flights. What does the audience actually get from watching this? And I would say here they get some bad out of focus flying action with some bad music in the background. If it's not exciting, people are not going to watch. And this brings us on to number 3. It has changed so much. So back 8 years ago, the FPV scene on YouTube wasn't nearly as big. And one of the things I did, which was a mistake, we need to change how you think about people consume content. Like in today's age of like, what is it, TikTok and the little shorts and reels that people have on Instagram and YouTube, the attention span that people have is significantly different than what it was, like, say, 15 years ago or even 10 years ago. The market and the community and the audience has drastically changed. So I remember I titled some videos back before I was really into making content in terms of like for helping people. I was just making content for fun. I would title videos like "Big Crash at the End, watch through," and it's like an 8-minute video. No one in their right mind is going to watch 8 minutes just to watch a little drone crash and a camera spin. Like that might have been acceptable 20 years ago when they used to use that for broadcast television, and they'd have the big, like, I don't know, cliffhangers at the end of the show, and it would build up to I think the term might be a crescendo, please. You musically inclined people can let me know in the chat. Don't do that today. Put your best work forward straight away. They need to have a reason of like when they are clicking there, people's attention spans are so short. If you want to build an audience, you want to engage with people and be part of a community and have that grow, you need to grab them straight away. So I would put your best shots straight away, edit everything down. And this is only for growing, right? This is what I'm talking about here. I'm just trying to make your videos more engaging. If you're just making them for fun and you don't care who watches them, you're ultimately going to have an awesome time. And if you are enjoying it, then that's a win. But if you would like to maybe get more views or maybe build more part of an audience, this is what I'm talking about. Put your best work forward. A 1-minute absolute banger video is 100 times better for growing than a 1-hour boring video. So you just want to put your best work out, and anything else that doesn't develop or change your story or improve in any significant way, cut it. Like, it is done now. I think we're up to like tip number 4. You probably do need to work a little bit on your editing. Like, it's something that I'm working towards all the time. There's some different softwares out there. I think DaVinci Resolve might be a free editing software. I used iMovie, believe it or not, for these early videos. Like, if I jump over here, I wonder if I go back, let's have a look at my oldest videos. I don't think I started using Premiere Pro for a long time. So Yeah, there was a, look at this, 2-minute clean flight video. There we go. I'm sort of following my own advice there. 66,000 views. That's kind of like almost better than what I get. That is better than what I get today in the golden age of FPV growth, I should say. But yeah, so a 2-minute video right there. If I could, and I had the skills to go back, I would cut down a lot of this. Now, tip number 3, if you are making, I guess, short videos, I don't know if Reels get thumbnails or anything like that, but thumbnails play a huge role. I would say they're like 50% of real, or like they are, you should focus almost on that first if you want to grow and engage. That's there's like a whole nother school and lesson, and like people make entire businesses off that. I've been getting some help lately on my thumbnails. Big shout out there to Mike over in NZ. But yeah, it makes an absolute huge difference. And I would like to say, if you are looking at doing it on YouTube, there is no secret. Okay. I will tell you the tip, the hard truth, the hard thing to understand about if you're going to be making YouTube videos regarding FPV or any content, I would say. YouTube is no one thing. That any video that says do this one thing and you'll get 1,000 times more views or whatever, that is a lie. The cake is a lie. What it actually is YouTube is 1,000 little things that you need to always be working on. So there's no one big major change you can do. Different things will have different impacts, but there is so many little things that you need to do. Like it could be editing your LCATs, your music, your LCUTs, your music tracks that you're putting in there, your title, your thumbnail, your engagement, how long it is, your best part first, what time you put. Like there is so much behind the scenes you need to think about. So really it's all those little things. And that's why we go back to the first thing I spoke about. If you are doing this for fun, it makes it easy. So you just want to be passionate about what you're working on and give the audience a reason to watch something. So that's my final tip is, if you are building an audience, why are they going to watch you? Are you making this exciting for them? Are you giving them something to connect to? Or is it just a camera flying through the air with some bad music in the background and shaking around? Now, the last little example I want to give is, for me, like you need to maybe do things a little bit differently. So you don't need to put that bad music in the background. There is no reason. People just kind of do that because it was the thing that was done and we didn't know better. But the videos you are watching, that doesn't mean that they're the best thing you can do. You can probably come up with a better creative solution. And the example that I want to talk about is, like, I did some happy flying videos. This is kind of where the name of this whole stream came from, but I think there is a playlist somewhere on my channel called Happy Flying, and surely it's in here somewhere. It's been a little while since I've added to that playlist, but long story short, if we go over here, it'll be in here somewhere. I would talk in my happy flying videos. Now, it started off, I used to just tell stories in the background because I was like, well, I want to connect with people here. And then it evolved into me talking about things about FPV while I was actually flying in the background, rather than just playing some bad music. And that made a big difference for me as well. So look, they're my tips on how to improve your videos, why your YouTube videos suck, and if you would like to grow your audience. I'm not saying that this is the holy grail, it's going to change everything, but in my experience and my profession, it's probably going to make an impact. And ultimately, though, the main thing to think about is just have fun, because then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people watching, whether it be 100 people, whether it be 100,000 people. If you're having fun, then that's probably the most important part. It's going to be good. You want to keep doing it, and yeah, and just enjoy the skies as well. Okay, so I would like to move on. Let's talk a little bit about the wing. So this right here is the first wing that I have built in about 6 years. So this is the baby AR wing, and I am completely amazed at how easy and simple this thing was to set up and build. If you have ever built a drone in the past, building a wing is like 10 times easier. The only tricky part that I really struggled through, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, is how to set it up on the transmitter. I have to be honest, don't 100% understand how I got through that. But this baby wing, I think it's from Sonic AR. I'm going to link it down below anyway. But it is really easy to put them together. Now, one big difference if you want to build a wing at home is, I think it was about $40 to put this through. Let's have a look, actually. And that came with like the ESC and the motor as well. It's like incredibly cheap, I guess, because it's a big piece of foam. Let's have a look here. How much is the Sonic Baby AR wing? I take it back. It looks like it's more expensive than I thought. Unless this one comes with a camera or something. What do we got here? Plug and play. Let's change this. This cannot be correct. I swear this is like $40 last time I looked. Can someone else? Let's confirm this. Shipping to United States, USD. No way. Okay. Does this seem right to you guys? I swear this was like, it looks like there's one left. Let's have a look here. Now look, I take this back. So maybe it's saying it's $90 now. I swear this was like $50 last time I looked for this. That's the ready to fly. I don't know if you guys can post things in the chat. Let's see. If I go to shopping. Yeah, okay. So this, I think this would be in Australian dollars. We've got right here, $100, excuse me, $120. That's AU. So maybe we were right when, yeah, okay, I take it back. It is not as cheap as I thought it was going to be. I think I've seen them cheap in the past. But anyway, all right, we're gonna ship to America. I always need to put this setting in because we always get taxed on every purchase, and it factors it in the website, which can be a little bit annoying as a reviewer. But however, I built one of these, and it was insanely easy to put together. The tricky part was once you look inside here, you will see there is no receiver. So, I mean, no flight controller, and that took a little bit for my brain to get around. So if we jump over here, you will see everything is connected to right here. This is your receiver, is basically the brains, believe it or not, of your aircraft. So in a typical drone, everything gets wired up to the flight controller. That flight controller sends messages to the ESC, and that's what controls your motors. Here, there is nothing like that. It is literally a 3-channel receiver. I took the little receiver out of my car. I'm using ELRS. I have one of these goes to the motor, which is in the back right here, and then another one goes to a servo, which we have on each side, which controls these bad boys. I don't know if they're called the ailerons or whatever. Essentially, it controls each one of those on the back of the wing. Now, the tricky part is when you've got 3 channels, you need to mix them all together on your transmitter. I'm going to put a picture on the screen later when I go back and look at this video. For the longest time, I had my throttle that was working, up on the radio. For the longest time, I tried to wrap my head around like the mixing of those channels, and I think it was Oscar Liang that, let's have a look, it was this here. Wing setup, because he had, this is going back to 2017, building my first mini race wing for FPV. He had this picture on the screen. Oh my gosh. I'm going to put a picture on the screen anyway. Essentially, it was like the transmitter mixing, and it said, well, just copy this and put it in and it'll work. And I'm thinking there's no way, like, right, I'm doing like minus 100%, plus 100%. And when I go through all of that and then I actually look at it, I put it in after, I swear, like 90 minutes of mucking around on the transmitter, scrolling back and forth on the curve levels and things and inverting the channels. And I copied his settings and it just worked. I still do not understand. I do not know why that was the case. I do not see what he was doing differently to what I was doing, but I'm going to put that picture on the screen. Everything else together went really, really simple. The simulator I am practicing on is this right here. I think it might just be called Wings. FPV Sim. Wings, the RC flight simulator. and it seems like it's just spinning around forever, so I don't know what it's actually doing right here. But yeah, it's called Wings. I don't know. Oh, here we go. It's finally loaded. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the screen. This is what I was practicing my little sim with, my little baby AR wing. This bad boy right here. So it looks like this is pretty official. The beauty about this is, though, when I connected my radio to this, it gives you like a little tutorial at the start. It was super simple to get set up. Like it says, hey, move your throttle, move your pitch, move your roll, move your yaw. Done. You didn't have to do any actual mixing on the transmitter. This just took care of it all. It knew what your inputs were on the radio and converted that so it worked perfectly in the sim. So if you have never flown one of these before, it is really, I'm not going to say easy, but much easier to wrap your head around. There's only like throttle and then bank left and bank right. Everything else, when I was flying in the sim, it seemed to work pretty well. It's going to be very interesting when I go out to the field and actually fly this around. I can't wait to do that with Stickman Steve. He's building up an absolute monster one. His has like a 6-inch prop on the back, where this is just like a 3-inch. He has a much larger one. That's almost sounds inappropriate talking about those in inches, but yeah, we're going to be cruising those around. So expect some FPV wing action a little bit. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you are into FPV, you've built a lot of drones in the past, I would strongly recommend for something a little bit different. It's not going to be for all your missions. It's not going to be for all your environments, but if you've got the space to fly those around, I think it's going to be an absolute blast cruising those around. Let me know if you have some wing experience in the past. What are your biggest pitfalls, or what are the biggest issues that you might have had with them? Some little tips. One thing I think I can see straight off the bat, flying this around, because of its small form factor, I feel like it is the opposite of maybe tiny whoops or when it comes to drones. So it's like the inverse of that. If you have a larger wing and you've got a larger wing surface area, I don't know, like a greater surface for lift, it's a bit larger, I think it's going to feel more docile on the sticks and potentially easier to fly and easier to glide, versus this, I think because of its small form factor, is going to feel like a little dart just cutting and slicing through the air. I think this smaller one is actually going to be harder to fly, versus what it's like with drones. When you're cruising around with drones, a tiny whoop, ridiculously easy to fly, like a little Mobular 8, amazing. If you then go up to like a 6-inch like freestyle rig, it can be a little bit more scary if you don't know what you're doing, especially when you're flipping over into acro mode and those sorts of things. So please let me know what that's like, if you have any experience with that versus, I guess, the large or small, or any little advice you have when it comes to flying wings. And I want to give a shout out to Phaser FPV, because that's where Steve ordered his receiver from. So I'm hoping that gets here in the next couple of days and we can put that together before he's got to go back to work. Johnny DRC is saying, I have the AR900 and the AR Pro, and we've got BUIZ. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. He's saying analog for life. Now, for me, I did put analog in this one. The beauty was, it was like so easy to put together. The camera fits in there perfectly. I think I have a Ratel, maybe. In this one, it could even be the Joshua Bardwell edition, actually. I was like, oh, I've got this in the box. It was brand new. I would like to put digital in there because, like we spoke about before, it's just very hard to compete when you enjoy digital. I think that's what I want to put in there a little bit more. But for me, the analog is just a bit cheaper in case I lose it or I'm cruising this thing around. I don't want to put my best gear in my first ever, or I guess second ever wing build, and when I don't have the experience to fly it. That's probably a really good life lesson. If you're a beginner watching this, and regardless of your craft, wings, drones, whatever you are building with FPV, do not spend all your cash and get an expensive drone first, because you're going to break it. You're going to crash. You need those skills first, which is why I'm flying around with a sim. And people can agree with me with this as well. Sims are so important. Don't do the best of the best straight off the bat. There is no way I'm going to put an expensive like GT cam in here, walk snail digital, and go for my first flight, because I'm probably going to crash it. I'm probably going to lose it. Or even if things go perfectly, it's going to be stressful the whole time. I'm not going to put that in there until I know what I'm doing. You should do the same. There we go. Follow that little bit of Grandpa UAV Futures here. The more sometimes I do some ramblings, the older that I feel. Let's see. Buzzer saying, I've been working on a Quadversity board for a long-range wing flyers. I just ordered my 5th redesign on the PCB, and I hope this one goes through. Okay. So do you mean like a receiver? Is that what you're talking about? Because I did do a long-range mission the other day, and I was really annoyed because some of my audio cut out in there. It was with this receiver right here. So this, I think it's the DB4R Radio Master. Let's have a look at this one. I'll put this on the screen. And I don't think these are in stock everywhere at the moment. So let's go for a bit of a screen share. I know we have this one. Another Aussie store right here. So Phaser FPV, but we have this. So it's got 4 antennas on here. So this is like 2 times diversity, because these outer ones are the 900 megahertz, or what they call low band, which, to be honest, I actually quite like that name. And then we've got the 2.4 in the middle. Oh, this one is 2.4 and this one is 2.4. So that's for the Radio Master Nomad system. We did some testing with that. No issues whatsoever. It was actually quite impressive. And the way that we tested ours, you'll see coming up soon with our Nomad release, is we got Steve to drive the car, and there was no actual flying involved. We tested it like on ground level, from like someone driving a radio out in the car, seeing how far they can go. All right, let's see. Jay is saying, did I miss something? Just got here. No, brother. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking all things FPV. If you have some questions, we've just been talking about building my first ever wing, what it's been like, looking at some of these receivers for long range and those sorts of things. Of course, we've spoken a little bit about analog, why your YouTube videos suck as well. We got Leaders, he's saying not much. Right there. You've just missed hanging out, having fun, and a good time with the FPV family we've got right here. But it is great to have you. It's great to have everybody here. Like I say, it's the best part of my working week. Regardless of what you are doing, where you are at in the world, or what is happening with your life, I would like you to know that you are special, you are valued, and I'm really glad that you're here. So this stream, it's a way for me to connect with you and be part of this amazing community, which flying around FPV is cool, and the community is extremely cool as well. We've got people from all over the place. Like put some comments. Where are you from? What's going on with you? What was the latest thing that you flew? And you'll see we've got people from all over the world. Like I know we've got some in the States right now. We've got some in New Zealand. So a lot of things. All right. Moving on, we have some Reddit videos to watch in a little bit as well, some other sort of fails, but am I wrong here? Am I a grumpy old man? Am I completely off base? Or is this completely justified? So this happened. I saw this post on Reddit the other day, and I could not help but sort of get a little bit grumpy about it, and it really annoyed me. So I'm going to show you a picture. We have, so this post, let's have a look right here. Where are we? Hopefully we can, I don't know if we can zoom. Oh no, my camera's frozen, hasn't it? Okay, this could be a problem, guys. Bear with me. We're going to be, watch this. This is where my stream absolutely tanks. We'll see how many people like Stuart. I give you 2 minutes. Let's see if we can get this back. Okay. No, I know this is something I do. I don't know how to fix this. I was really enjoying this stream. See, this is the internet not liking what I'm doing. Maybe I am out of touch when it comes to getting upset about this Reddit post. Chris, I would love to answer your questions, man. I just need like 2 seconds to solve this problem. It's really hard to do streams online too. You work hard to get your audience ready and then bop. Okay, what about, I'm going to go to, maybe I just have to like close this down and then resume my broadcast. Are we back? Did I save this? I need to, let me just have a look. If we fix that, I am going to be pretty happy with my, are we back, guys? We're back? No way. No way that actually worked. Okay, I don't know. All I did was close down OBS and things didn't explode. And the amazing part is you guys are still here. And I would like to say, genuinely, thank you. Thank you for just, I understand everybody's time is valuable. And thanks for not being like, well, see you later, Stu. You tried, mate. Good luck. See you later. That's a little bit of just kindness that you guys gave me 2 minutes, and I truly do appreciate that, because I do put a lot of work in behind the scenes to make the best streams that I can for you guys, like working on my audio and those things. And it is a little bit heartbreaking when my computer freezes, and maybe it's the USB cords. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, you guys are still here, and I want to say thank you. It removes a little bit of the, I would say, stream anxiety that you get sometimes. Okay. Is this going to break now when I click on this button? Fingers crossed. We're going to do a bit of a screen share here. So here's what really got me upset on Reddit the other day. You guys can let me know. Let's see. Okay. This post was posted right here, and I've removed the names besides my name. I do not want to have any hassle out there. I do not want anybody to find out who this was and reply to that. Like you can already see, I got 2 downvotes. My mouse isn't actually showing on the screen right here, but I got 2 downvotes for this. So maybe I'm out of touch. I would like to read this to you and maybe get your opinions on this. I can talk about it because maybe I'm promoting the wrong thing for the hobby, but essentially this says, where do you guys fly your 5-inch quads? The neighbor called the cops on me today saying they were loud and were not allowed to fly in neighborhoods. He's elderly, he can barely walk. Although he is very nasty to me, I feel sorry for him, seeing as how he will die any day now, and I'm sure that's depressing. Police came and told me I wasn't breaking the law, which made him even angrier. Threatened to kill me if I broke his window or anything. Old people so sweet, huh? To keep the peace, I'll just fly the 3-inch and below in the neighborhood, and that leaves the question, where do you guys take your 5-inch quads? I try to stay away from drama. I really like positivity, like spreading the love of FPV. But this made me so mad. Like this was my response. This is the most tone deaf post I've seen in a while. I would try my best to fly away from houses, etc. It's like blasting loud music while driving. Probably not breaking the law, but doing it while cruising through a neighborhood just makes you an inconsiderate tosser. Let the old man have some peace and go flying somewhere else to fly. Now, this was downvoted, of course, so maybe he's got 2 accounts. Maybe the community just was like, yeah, this is totally, you should be allowed to fly anywhere. And this is where I need to make the distinction. I understand legally you can do some things. Morally, just because you can do something doesn't mean it's the right, legally, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you're allowed to do that, or you should be doing that on a moral basis. So for this is an old man who just would like to have some peace. You can fly anywhere. This dude can barely walk, and he would probably love to go out to a secluded area and go for a walk around. Yet this person who looks like they're able to move around the neighborhood is like, I'm going to fly a 3-inch here. So this is like the complete wrong mentality you have. If you are coming into FPV, for me, and you are this sort of person, this is not what we need. This is not what FPV is about. Yes, you can do that. The old man has probably been through a lot, probably more than you will know. And I have to, like, this makes me feel like this is a teenager. So maybe he needs this advice. Like, I'm trying to get through and actually help this person become a better person and a better pilot and just a better part of the community. But I feel sorry for him, as he will die any day now, and I'm sure that's depressing. So if you don't feel sorry for him because you're spending his last remaining days cruising around with a 5-inch and then saying, I'm just going to do it with a 3-inch, which can be just as noisy, just as annoying, just as scary to an old person, do not be this person. Like, don't be a jerk. I cannot stress that enough. It is completely baffling to me, the lack of self-awareness that this person has. It just shows how immature they are. Get out and fly somewhere else. Like, you can do it there, but that doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? Driving through If you're driving around blasting loud music, it's all about you. The world has a lot of people in here. It is not just about you. Don't be so self-centered. You can tell that I'm just getting a little bit fired up there. Let me know, please, in the chat. We're going to go through what other people are saying as well. But I'm pretty mad. So look, these are some responses. Parks are where I fly. And Mad Hatter is saying it's not illegal, but if anything happens and they're screwed and they don't understand that. So that's a totally another argument. I'm talking more from the moral point of view. But yeah, what happens if you did have a failsafe and it does go through his window? Okay, well, I'm not advocating this old man should kill him. That's complete. He's probably, I would say, a figure of speech. But, you know, violence is never the answer. That's what I tell my kids. Violence is a fool's way of solving problems. But, you know, you could injure someone or someone else's property. Don't fly over people or houses and those things. Like, do not do that. Be safe. So there's that real implication. Unless you've got a backyard like Joshua Bardwell, you should only do test hovers in your backyard. Yeah, I feel like this person, when he says neighborhood, like maybe he's out on the road or out on the street. He didn't say his backyard, so that makes me think a little bit different. Jurassic Park rules. Just because they could doesn't mean they should. So that's from Nice FPV. Yep. And Leader says, put the goggles on audience mode and put the old man off and show him the thrills of being alive. Yeah, that is great. Maybe offering him a way to do things. I would still say don't fly around people and houses. It's just sort of how I feel. But yeah, definitely try to work with the old man. Don't just come back with a different, like a 3-inch approach. Johnny DRC, while you're learning to fly, don't fly the 5-inch and lie the quads around people. Just takes one inexperienced pilot to mess someone up with a 5-inch and get the whole hobby in serious trouble. Yep. There was there was an incident that happened, I would say about 5 years ago, where a little girl lost her eye in a playground because some tosser was flying around a 5-inch and it hit her while she was on the swing. And Osmo Sid is saying, I agree with you 100%. After all, this is one of those things that gives the hobby a bad name. Yeah. Okay. I don't know where he is, but this is over 250 grams. It's against the rules to come too close to people and structures. I forget the exact country, and I think it varies by country. It does. I'm just talking on a moral ground. If you're in the hobby, don't be, like I mentioned, this is a bit of an Australian slang here. I don't know if this tracks in other countries, but don't be an inconsiderate tosser when it comes to flying. You want to be part of the community. You know, don't, just because you can doesn't mean you should. How would you like it if someone came outside your house and maybe you were on night shift, and then, here's a perfect analogy, then they just blasted and did some Bollywood dancing right outside your neighborhood, right outside your window while you're trying to rest? That probably would not go down well for most people. I mean, maybe you are a Bollywood lover and you love that dancing routines, but yeah, just be considerate of other people. Like, I have to think that a teenager wrote that post. I just wanted to get that off my chest. There we go. Stu's rant about the hobby. Let's see. This is kind of why I don't like DJI. If you are building your own, you kind of understand the rule. Yeah, well, this person didn't understand that, I guess, in terms of, they're saying, 3-inch and 5-inch. Like, they're obviously talking about FPV quads. I need a drink. That's like a non-alcoholic drink. Neck is saying, I wish my neighbor would stop flying through the neighborhood. We live 2 miles from the airport. I've told him a couple of times, and his argument is no one come to stop him. I'm going to say, Neck, you sound like you're dealing with like a teenager maybe or something, because it is really hard for me to get my head around, as an adult, somebody who would be irresponsible like that. Don't fly near airports. Don't fly near people. Just because no one's come to stop you yet doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. Stop, have a think. All right, and it's not even about the noise. It's about like safety and just being. I have to move on, guys. I could rant about this all day. Otherwise, I'm gonna get too upset. Okay, let's talk about the HD0 Whoop board that has come out. It is the AIO1, and I think this is a massive deal. Massive deal for HD0, massive deal for Whoops. If you are getting into FPV, you love the idea of flying around in a small little form factor, HD0 is one of the 3 major digital options we have. And this board here really, I think, is set to make waves. HD0 is absolutely crushing it in two critical areas of FPV. So what I'm talking about, that's this board right here, the HD0 All-in-One 5. And I have to say, this board is absolutely packed with technology, which is very, very exciting. In the past, yes, we have Cadex. Yes, we have DJI, which we're going to talk about in a little bit later in the stream as well. Both of those have much larger footprints and they do things a little bit differently in their own sort of ecosystem. HD0 is predominantly for racing. And what they have right here with their all-in-one is they are also fantastic for whoops. So if you are someone who is serious about whoop racing, whoops in general, or like actual track field flying, HD0 is going to be right up your alley. We're going to talk about what makes this special. I do not recommend HD0 for everyday pilots. For my sort of flying, I really like Cadex. I feel like they've got a nice middle ground here. If you are absolutely critical about getting the best picture, a lot of pilots like DJI. If you are interested in racing and whoops, HD0 just got a lot more attractive. Of course, HD0 when it comes to racing is the #1, I would say, competitor's choice. People can let me, like Johnny DRC in the chat is saying HD0 is great for racing. It's fantastic, but this is pushing it to the next level. So whoop races are really big. I know like we've got some tiny whoop events that a lot of people go to. I know Kiz, I've seen him in the chat. He has been to some tiny whoop race events, but to be able to do this now with an all-in-one board, and I think it weighs, it's saying, I think it's about 5 grams if I read this correctly, but you can now build a quad that is less than 20 grams in total with HD0 boards on board. So you're going to be getting back some really nice digital little footage. Here's some of the pictures on this, some of the stats on the screen. If you want to pause, have a bit of a read through that. I would love to test this. I think this looks like fantastic. There we've got a little, some little ways on how to set it up. Here's everything that you get with it. We have, I was looking at Infinity. I've got this muted so I don't get any copyright strikes. But Infinity Loops doing some really cool stuff. I know he is big with the whoops as well. And so this is 1 day ago. Like you got to remember, this is coming in from a tiny little like 20. Well, this is a 75 gram craft, so maybe a little bit heavier. But this craft, whoa, that was awesome. Yeah, really, really cool stuff from a tiny little craft. So I don't know. I'm gonna link this video later on. We also have some other little flying as well. Where is this? And we have this video like Mads Tech. He goes through the whole breakdown. He talks about the thermals and everything. And ultimately, it is really impressive what they have crammed into this little board. So I believe it's like one thick PCB rather than a 2-layered PCB. And what they've done in here, it's made it by doing that, they've made it more durable, more robust. And you can build up a tiny little craft that is going to be perfect for the races. So perfect for whoop races. This is probably the product from HD0 that really makes me want to jump in and give it a go. I don't go to enough races. In fact, I've been to like a handful in my lifetime. It's not my preferred style of flying. I think it's really, really cool. I know a lot of people that do it. I'm friends with a lot of pilots who are big into racing. That's their main focus. But whoops, that's totally different. Like a whoop race, it can be ultra competitive, but I feel like there is a lot of fun to be had there and cruising these things around. You don't need big tracks and big fields. It's easy to set up. You don't have to worry about weather. Yeah, HD0 is doing really, really well. So this is $100. You got to remember also, this is actually pretty cheap when you consider what we're getting. So this is your flight controller, your ESC, and your digital VTX. As a comparison, let's have a look at the second lightest option that is non-HD0 on the market, which would be the Walk Snail 1S kit. We'll go to Cadex right here. So this is, and you can get one with a different antenna than this. So this is like $109. I think there's a stripped down version, which is maybe $100 with a different antenna, even lighter. But for the same price now, when you jump over to HD0, we are also getting the flight controller. Now, I think the CADX picture is going to be better. You're going to be getting better range with the CADX, with the Walksnail system. But you don't need big range when you're flying around with whoops and those things. So I'd love to know what you guys think. I think it's a very, very exciting time for people in the hobby. Okay, let's catch up a little bit on the chat. And then we're going to be talking about, we're going to be seeing some of the really cool Reddit videos that I can't wait to show you. And also an issue, if you're into DJI, well, you really need to watch this, like a bit of a safety warning we're going to be putting out, because you might be endangering your quad or some people if you're going for a flight. Okay. Stu, if you want to give my Quadversity board a try, let me know. I'll 3D print a holder for it before shipping it out to you. So what does it bind up to? That's what I need to know there. BUIZ. I would like to test them. I'm more than happy to show cool products and get things out there to people. And if it helps you, yeah, absolutely, man. We'll put that on the list and see if we can slot that in somewhere. You can also send me an email at UAVFutures@gmail.com. That goes for anybody, by the way. Like, even if you've just got a question, the Discord link should be down below. Or if you want a little tip on something, or maybe you do have a cool product, or just generally anything about FPV, please don't feel like you can't reach out. I go through my inbox like all the time, writing back to as many people as I can, just sharing the love of this hobby. I'm really, really passionate about it. So yeah, if that is you, you'd like to say something or just drop me a line, the link, or it should be there somewhere, or at least on my about page, but it's UAVFutures@gmail.com. Don't accept any imitators. That's going out to the store vendors out there, because I do get a lot of ones saying, hey Stu, this order I shipped, I didn't know you live in India. And I'm like, I don't. Stop send. That's not my. I'm not UAV Futures at Outlook or UAV Futures at Big Pond or all these other scam addresses out there as well. That's a little bit annoying. Kiz FPV is a great racer. Absolutely, he is. It's not for the RC link. It's for the FPV video feed. Okay, that's. Oh, do you mean like? Wait. Oh, okay. You mean a Quadversity, like a 5.8 analog receiver? Is that what we're talking about there? BUIZ, that's kind of interesting. And if you could also let me know, what advantages do you see in terms of, is it like real Quadversity? And what does it plug into? Okay, Johnny DRC is saying 85mm is a great size for local parks. Yeah, I love my Lightning actually, or even like the Mob 8. Is that might be 85 as well? A really, really fun little local park safe flyer. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about, you might have seen this, if you fly DJI, if you fly the latest O3 unit with their O3 goggles, there is a serious safety announcement and something that needs to be taken into consideration. So this popped up recently on my feed, and I have to give a shout out to Mads Tech, because if you look at his video, and I'll link this down below, it looks like DJI Goggle 3, do not use warning, not safe for use with the O3. So lately, there has been a lot of reports, and I've read some of his other comments as well. If you are flying around after the latest firmware issues, and I'll put any updates in this post as well as linking this original video. If you are flying around with DJI and you've done the latest firmware updates, when you lose signal from your drone, like, and it's trying to reconnect or get those packets back, or I'm not entirely sure on the specific process, but I can tell you the problems that happen from it. There are a lot of reports of people losing their drone, so it doesn't reconnect, and then you have no FPV feed. So if you are flying around people, property, or you just don't want to lose your drone and you have updated to the latest firmware when it comes to DJI, be very, very careful. And it is not recommended to fly in its current state. If you're using the O2 goggles, I think that's okay. It is specifically with the O3 goggles and the O3 Air unit. He has a little update post here as well. So there's no real news. This was only posted 12 hours ago, in terms of like the company reached out to them and DJI got back to him. And after raising this issue with DJI directly, and like he's done lots of posts about it and everything, they're basically like, yeah, thanks for letting us know. We'll look onto it. Like, it's a very standard response that it's unclear what it's going to be like in the future, when a firmware update is going to be happening, when there's going to be a fix, if there's going to be a fix. It's just a little bit scary. And this is one of the reasons why DJI, I think, is not always the best choice when it comes to FPV. They do have good picture, I'll give them that, but I feel like that is it in terms of like being more open to the community and what FPV pilots want. DJI FPV is a small part of their much larger like camera platforms and different like things that they're interested in. Where companies like Cadex, they're a little bit more open. We've got HD0, which is purely like they're really into racing. They're developing like those little AEI. I'm singing the vowels here. They are developing like those little Whoop boards with their all-in-one fifth revision. HD0 is great for the community. I think Cadex is great for the community as well. It's offering like a nice middle point of like, it's got the best range out of any digital system. It's got as far as I'm concerned, a beautiful picture anyway, like a 9 out of 10 picture. And it's got some lightweight receiver options or VTX options as well. Whereas DJI, they're a bit bigger. Yes, they have a good picture, but then you get situations like this and it really is like unclear with the communication going forward, what it's going to be like. DJI has had some problems in the past when it comes to like open sort like talking with us or like making products obsolete or like rolling out their next vision because they release goggle after goggle after goggle and this version after this version, and it is not always cross-compatible. And you're going to run into issues like this and like, sorry, you know that great fleet of drones that you bought? Well, no, we don't support them anymore. You're going to have to buy this entirely new system. So if you're a DJI pilot out there, do not fly your O3 Air unit and your O3 goggles until there is a proper fix. I would check out MadTech's video as well, because you're going to lose your drone. Like, he is able to repeatedly make his lose connection and it is never able to rebind up. So until he disarms the quad. So very, very scary stuff, which is exactly what you do not want when you're when we have some of these crafts traveling at like 100 kilometers per hour in some crazy locations. And I would say DJI is probably the most popular one for commercial work where things get a little bit scary. So I'm not sure how the insurance is going to go in the future, if that is you and you're doing it for commercial work as well. All right, I'm going to answer some questions right here. We've got Malio FPV. I cannot decide between the Walk Snail Goggle V1 and the X. I could get the V1 for $280 and X only for the original price in my country. What gives better performance also for the price? Thank you, sir. So I actually can answer this. I've flown around both of them. How much is the Goggles X? Let's have a look. The V1's for $280. Goggles X Cadex. Okay, well, they're like twice the price here. If this was me, let me put this over on the screen. Let me know what you would get as well, because if I jump over here for screen share, you're saying you can get the V1. Look, this is actually out of stock at the moment anyway. The V1s for $280, or you're going to get these for $450. To be honest, and it is unlike me to recommend older hardware, the price difference there is so significant. The V1s sound like a good option, but I also want to put this out there, and I cannot believe that I'm saying this. Lately, we have this product that I went for a fly, and I did this yesterday because I feel like I am the most confident with here. The Goggles L, believe it or not, I actually on purpose chose to use these goggles for like my longer range flights. The reception I get with these is outstanding on the stock antennas that come with them versus the antennas that are on these ones. On the Goggles X, I need to upgrade these because I feel like this is letting me down. These little antennas that are around the outside here, they're letting me down. I'm getting better range on my Goggles L, so that's what I would choose. The Goggles L are only $200 as well. So I have a whole video you should be able to go and watch there. My recommendation is actually, these would be my last pick. Depending on what you want to do, I would either be looking at getting these goggles or spending a little bit more for $270. They are all good options. I think Cadex is my preferred digital system of choice. But for $200, you can do a lot more after that. So then you can also upgrade. Like, you can get an awesome radio. Let me know what you guys would get in the chat as well. But you can get a great radio. You can basically get an entire kit for the price of the Goggles X. I do like the Goggles X. If I was going to be doing some closer range, like they're my favorite experience flying around. But that price difference in no way is it worth the price difference between those two? So Loch Ness is saying g'day. They are great. If I get overfunded for my project, I might just say go for it, and we assemble the board myself instead of. Oh, okay, that's talking for that's about. Sorry, I got confused with that chat. What gives better performance and also for the price? Okay, there we go. So the Goggles X, they give the least amount of performance versus the Goggles L. The price difference between the Goggles X that you have and the old version. So I know Stickman Steve flies around with the old version of the goggles. I feel like they're pretty comparable. It's just, you know, I do really like my Goggles X. I don't want to undersell that, but for $500 versus your $270, there's a big difference there. And I'm a big believer in like giving you the right information so you can spend your money. And I feel like the answer you want me to say is, it's totally worth upgrading to the best higher end version. Go get the Goggles X. But no, do not do that. I'm going to say out of those three options, at the prices that you have them, $200 for the Goggles L, your $270 for the version 1, or the latest version for $500. The latest version at that price versus your other ones that you have, I would put as the last choice in there. So hopefully that's going to clear those up. We got Russ Wolf 911 in the chat as well. Good to see the old man here, the super old man. For anybody who's interested, that legend who's been here around since the dawn of time, but also since the old stream families as well. I know Kiz is a big fan of Russ, so I want to give him a bit of a shout out as well. And we have other people tuning in saying, I'd say for $280, the budget, I'd go for the secondhand HD3s. I want to stay with my roots. Yeah, but remember, you also are making some quad diversity FPV 5.8 right there. I love the Goggles L for the $200 price range too. I think they're a great goggle. And Kiz is saying we all have that sort of love for us. Okay, I can't believe the time. All right, I'm got a couple of little things I want to show you I think you'll enjoy before we wrap the stream up. I would like to just read a couple of these. The Goggles 2 fogging issues I've used, and I gone with the lens protector I got from Amazon to take the fogging out. Okay. Are you flying around in colder places? A little tip we used to have back in the day was we would make sure you're flying around, your goggles are warm, because if you fly around and your goggles are cold, and like people used to put them like near their car or in their jacket when they were driving somewhere to go and fly, because then when you put them on your face, if it is really cold outside, the condensation from your eyeballs is going to fog those up. So that's a little tip right there. Dave S., what's the typical budget for people? It seems $100 a month is reasonable, so save up for a few months and upgrade goggles. I did a video. You can go watch that, or it's like how to get started flying, how I would start today if I was going to get into the hobby. It's really, this is my, without a doubt, best choice of what I would get. I would get this goggle right here. I'll get the pocket radio for $60, and then like a Mob 8 and a couple of batteries. So I think for like under $500 or $450, something around that space, not including shipping, I would save up and get that. That's what I would work towards, because these goggles will last you. I could fly with these forever. The pocket radio I could fly with forever. And the Mob 8, it's got cheap batteries. It's using digital. It's just it can be an indoor craft, can be an outdoor craft. That's what I would recommend. And then you can always upgrade. You can always get a bigger, faster, like a Nazgul would walk snail or something, and these goggles and the radio, they're going to stay with you. Okay. Let me show you some of the best Reddit videos of the week. I'm going to close this out. So I think I've got to close down. Okay, I'm going to start it off with this one. This is not actually a Reddit video. This is from Stickman Steve, because he loves Facebook, but this is very, very cool. Let me see. I just got to wait. I don't think you can restart these. I've got to wait till it pauses or restarts. This is a little short clip. Okay, check this out. So this is the greatest videos of the week when it comes to RC and all things flying around with drones and FPV. Look at this. So I have no idea what this says. Maybe like the future's here, maybe. But I'm pretty sure they're saying subscribe to UAVFutures. Check this mad contraption out. So this dude like flying it around with a steering wheel right there. Yeah, the video unfortunately just doesn't go for long enough. Very, very cool though. And safety-wise, it's leaving a little bit to be desired. I mean, we do have a helmet to protect from crashes, but I would want some big like plastic arm protection or something. I don't know what you guys think. I got to say, behind us here, is it me or does anybody else want to like race an RC car around whatever this is in the background? I think that looks really exciting. But yeah, pretty cool stuff right there. Dave is saying he's loving the steering wheel. It kind of makes sense. Like if you're cruising around, right, we are so used to driving like on the road. This I think is one of the better options I've seen at how to incorporate some flying. So yeah, I think that's kind of maybe the right way to go. All right, moving on. Let's have a look at the next video we have. It is this one. Oh, this was just an awesome 15-second video, which I think was really, really cool. This is actually like the not a technologically advanced video or anything like that, but yeah, this one. Check this out. It does have a little bit of a crash, but yeah, in a bando, just absolutely ripping around. Cool stuff here. I think that's the Tango 2 down below. Some skills. So there we go for this pilot. I don't even know how you would save that. Like, I couldn't fly like this. Obviously, I feel like this person has had a bit of practice. They know where these gaps and holes are and where to shoot through. This is also how you break a lot of your motors and things. So this is where durability, I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Like if you smash a $100 motor or a $10 motor, they're going to be smashed at the end of the day anyway. So yeah, just some nice little flying right there. I don't know if that would ever be recoverable once you go through that little gap. And then this video, I can't remember where this one came through. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is from Infinity Loops. I put this one in. I thought this was really cool, and I'm hoping that this is muted because it is muted. Can you restart this? Can you pause these? So this is from Infinity Loops. Check out, he's just got some really cool flying here. So you don't need to go outside to do some amazing flying. I was quite impressed with this. And we watched his video before when we were talking about the all-in-ones and the HD zeros. But yeah, look at this. Cruising around, some little whoop action. Pretty impressive flying, if I don't say so myself. So I think, yeah, don't think that those tiny little craft can't be pushed to the limits, because the skill that you can get from these, like this is making me feel dizzy just watching that. And then, of course, we're talking about the fractal quad right here. I do have a fractal quad. I did actually do a build guide on one of this, but I never got it flying as good as I thought it should. So maybe I'll have to give him a shout out. All right. Jumping over to here, looking at the time, it is 11:18. You guys have been absolutely amazing. If you've got any last questions, get them in, because I have to go do some other things downstairs in the studio. Got to put some other things together with this other wing. Get some last little parts set up before I go out and do some filming. And Buzz is saying, I'm studying how MOSFET drivers work too, because in case I design my own ESC someday. Yep, that's a pretty competitive market if you're going to be breaking in there. Johnny DRC is saying this is probably a 10-year-old flying. I think you might be talking about the first video we saw with that person flying around, because that second one, the fractal flying, that was from Infinity right there, or Heads. This is, oh, sorry, I shouldn't tap the microphone like that. I got to say, I'm really happy with the quality of this microphone. In terms of, it seems like you guys are enjoying it more than what it used to be like when I was using my headset. And I actually found a problem where, like, I know this is what we used to use. I can actually pick it up now without it worrying that it's going to break too much. Before this is actually my headset. This is what I was using every day for the first couple of streams that we did on here. So this would be on here, and it was, yeah, falling apart all the time. It would drop in and out, and there was actually a setting in the stupid software that it installed in the background that had it like at half volume all the time. So and I just got a critical battery warning from it right there as well. Okay. All right, yeah, so that's Infinity Loops flying. With the upgrading antennas, would you go Walk Snail Goggle X or V1? What has better range? Well, I can't actually test that because I haven't upgraded my antennas on my Goggles X. I think I would say they're pretty comparable, to be honest. They're both you're gonna get the best benefit on both antennas. So I'm strongly recommending you get the cheaper version for $280 and upgrade some antennas. Do not feel like you need to buy the latest and greatest stuff there when it comes to which ones you should get, because look, that's not what this hobby's about. And I want to make that very clear. You don't need the latest and greatest to have the best times of FPV. And I'm telling you right now, the price difference, $270 versus close to $500, that's huge. Why I wouldn't if I was buying it tomorrow, I would not be buying the X for that version if you can get a cheap version of the V1s. Lad Oz, he's sending through a little bit of love there. He's saying, getting back into the hobby, Stu. Love the streams, and I want to say thanks so much. That really does make a difference. So it's getting harder than ever to do this on YouTube and make this my full-time job and continue to make content while being able to support my family. And people think that just because you've got 200,000 subscribers that it's easy, but it is anything but. Yeah, it's a stressful time. I don't talk about it too much, but that comment there and that little super chat does make a difference. So thank you very much. And for anybody else, I'm going to say there's a Patreon link down below. If you're not a Patreon and you like the streams, you would like to support and continue, growing this channel of FPV and sharing the love for this hobby, that is one of the best ways you can do that. And it is all about just getting people flying. If you find value in the content that I watch and you think, you know what, for a coffee a month, yeah, I would like to sign up to that. I'm going to put that link down below. It should be there already anyway, but if that is you, thank you so much. Today might be the day and you think, you know what, I do like FPV. I do like the content you make, and it is worth $1, $2 a month. Thank you. Let's have a look. Oh, Johnny DRC said he loves the eyeballs that I've stuck on the outside of my old school headset right there. Upgrade on antennas in Walksnail V1 is a must. X Air is really good. And just confirmed. I've just confirmed the purchase for my 280 will be delivered in 4 days. Congratulations there, brother. I think you've made the right choice there. You're going to enjoy it. I know Stickman Steve, you'll see him in all my videos. He flies around with the V1 goggles as well, and he really likes them. What is the best freestyle drone for ripping around in a backyard neighborhood? It's easy. I think a backyard neighborhood, are we staying away from people and houses? Because you definitely don't want to be doing a 5-inch or anything like that. The Lightning V2 would be my recommendation. Like, I fly that around my backyard and it feels like a 5-inch in this tiny little form factor that is not nearly as dangerous as a 5-inch, not nearly as scary. It's like got cheaper batteries. Yeah, that's my that looks like this. Guys, I'm meant to be ending the stream here. What are you doing with all these questions? Lightning V2. So I can actually show you what it looks like the flight footage from my latest one. Let's see. Although I did crash mine and I did break the frame, but I flew it into like some timber, I don't know what you call it, bracing, or like the veggie patch. So make sure I'm muted here so I'm not doubling up. Look at this. Okay, so here I'm just getting used to it, trying to do a bit of talking, and then I think I jump in. I said I'm just going to do a little bit more flying. But yeah, if you look at the speed of this thing and then you see the size of this little craft, like it is 2 inches. It's absolutely tiny, but there is no reason you can't scream this thing around and have an awesome time for some backyard freestyle. Like, you don't need that big 5-inch freestyle anymore to have a freestyle experience. However, though, you'll see the crash that I do in just a little bit. I think there I'm saying I'll just do one more little lap. And then smash, yeah, into that. So I think any drone would break doing that. That's just something to be a little bit more considerate of or mindful of if you're going to be doing some freestyle. That might happen regardless of what craft you're flying, but I did break my Lightning V2 is my only sad part about that. But for a backyard ripper, Absolutely. All right, we've got Lita saying, Patreon helps Stu get in the equipment for a better live stream. Well, here it is. Look at this. We've got the, we're trying to upgrade all the time. 2 inches is plenty. That's from Led Oz right there. And the 4x4 post, I think I saw that footage. Yeah, it was a little bit of a sad day. I do have some more frames coming. Guys, we've still got 60 of us here. I'm meant to be ending the stream. Come on now. Okay, I think I'm going to say... there's no more comments coming in. That's the end of the stream. You guys have been fantastic. Looking at the time here, we've gone for about 90 minutes. Make sure that you're here because we are here. This is stream number 11, and that means like we've been doing this for a quarter of a year next stream. So 12 weeks in a row. That'll be number 12 next week. It's the best part of my working week. You guys are amazing. I'm going to put a couple of links down below. Remember, positive mental health. Please don't ever feel ashamed to, it's not weak to speak. Go and get some help. And just share that love of FPV. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I feel grateful to be able to do this with your help and just connect and share the love and be part of this like UAV Futures family we've got here. Okay, happy flying. Russ, I saw you're on Steam. Enjoy playing Skyrim for the day there, old man.